Pavel Tsatsouline trained the Soviet Special Forces before he ever set foot in the United States. He spent decades figuring out how to build strength and mobility into hardened soldiers without ever putting their joints at risk, and the 5 holds I'm about to show you come straight from that playbook. They take 15 minutes, they require no equipment, and they will fix more of your stiffness, your aches, and your nagging joint pain than any stretch or any pill ever will. So let's get into them. The first one is what Pavel made famous in this country, the hardstyle plank. Now, I know what you're thinking. You've done planks. Everyone does planks. But here's the thing. Most people do them completely wrong, which is why most people get nothing out of them. A regular plank is passive. You drop into position, you stare at the floor, you wait for the timer, and you feel almost nothing while your lower back slowly starts to ache. The hardstyle plank is the opposite. You only hold it for 10 seconds, and you should be shaking by the end. Here's how you do it. Drop down onto your forearms with your elbows directly under your shoulders. Now squeeze your glutes as hard as you possibly can, like you're trying to crack a walnut between them. Tuck your pelvis under so your lower back flattens out. Squeeze your quads, push your elbows down into the floor like you're trying to drive them through it. Brace your abs as if someone is about to punch you in the stomach. Breathe shallow but steady, 10 seconds. That's it. Rest a minute, do it 3 times. Most people make 2 mistakes here. The first is letting their hips sag, which crushes the lower spine and is the reason their back hurts every time they finish a plank. The second is sticking their butt up in the air, which turns the whole thing into a passive resting position. If you can hold this longer than 15 seconds, you're not doing it right. You're not generating enough tension. If a full plank is too much for you right now, drop to your knees but keep everything else identical. Same glute squeeze, same pelvic tuck, same maximum effort. As you build strength, lift one foot off the floor for a few seconds at a time, then the other. This single hold teaches your spine how to stabilize itself, and once your spine learns that skill, your lower back pain has a tendency to start melting away on its own. The research on bracing for back pain is overwhelming, and this is how you train it. The second hold is what the old Soviet weightlifters called prying, the prying squat. If you cannot get into a deep squat without your heels lifting, your knees caving in, or your lower back rounding, you have a mobility problem that's affecting every step you take during the day. This hold fixes it. You're going to drop down into the deepest squat you can manage, feet about shoulder width, toes pointed slightly out. Get your hips below your knees if you can. Now this is where most people quit, but you're going to take it one step further. Bring your elbows to the inside of your knees and gently push your knees outward with them. Keep your chest up. Keep your heels glued to the floor. And just sit there 60 seconds the first time, working up to 2 or 3 minutes over the coming weeks. The biggest mistake people make is letting their butt drift back off their heels, which means they're really doing a half squat with their weight forward. The fix is simple. Drive your heels into the ground hard like you're trying to leave footprints. The second mistake is rounding the lower back, which usually happens because the hips and ankles are too tight to sink properly. If that's you, hold onto a door frame or a heavy piece of furniture in front of you. Use your arms to support some of your weight while your hips and ankles slowly figure out how to let you sink lower. This hold opens your ankles and your hips at the same time, and those 2 joints are the foundation of every movement your body does. If they don't work, your knees take over for the ankles, your lower back takes over for the hips, and pretty soon your whole body is breaking down because 2 stuck joints made everything else compensate. The prying squat fixes the root cause, not the symptom, and that's what separates the Soviet method from everything else. Now, before I show you the third hold, let me tell you about something that's helped a lot of people in your situation. If you're dealing with chronic aches, stiff joints, or a body that just doesn't move the way it used to, you're not alone, and you're not stuck with it. I created a 30-day program called Reboot Your Body, and it's specifically designed to take you from where you are right now, no matter how stiff or beat up you feel, and walk you step by step through a progressive plan that restores your movement and your strength. We're talking about getting back on the floor with your kids or your grandkids without needing a hand to get up, walking upstairs without that little jolt of pain in your knee, getting through your day without that tight, achy feeling that's been following you around for years. The link is in the description below if you want to check it out. It's the same kind of methodology I'm sharing in this video, just laid out as a complete daily plan you don't have to think about. All right, back to it. The third hold is one of the most underrated movements in any tradition, and it comes from the Cossacks. Soviet wrestlers and dancers use this position to keep their hips, groins, and ankles bulletproof, and once you start doing it, you'll understand why almost nobody can do it well at first. The Cossack hold. You take a wide stance, much wider than shoulder width. Then you sink down onto one leg while the other leg stays completely straight out to the side with the toe pointed up toward the ceiling. The bent leg's heel stays glued to the floor. Your chest stays as upright as you can manage. You hold that position for 30 seconds, then switch sides, 2 rounds per side. The mistakes here are predictable. The first is rounding the back forward, which usually means your hips are too tight to sink straight down. The fix is to put your hands together in front of your chest like you're praying, and use them as a counterweight. The second mistake is letting the heel of the straight leg lift off the floor. That extended leg is doing real work. Keep that toe pulled up toward your shin and the heel pressing down. The third mistake is dropping the heel of the squatting leg. Same rule as the prying squat. Heel down, no exceptions. If a full Cossack is too aggressive for you right now, hold onto a door frame with the hand opposite your bent leg. Take some of your weight through your arm. As you build hip and groin mobility, you'll need that support less and less until eventually you can flow back and forth between sides without holding anything at all. What this hold does that almost nothing else does is hit the inner thigh, the groin, the lateral hip, and the ankle all at once, in a position that forces them to work together instead of in isolation. If you've been stretching your groin for months and nothing's changing, it's because stretching isn't the answer. The Cossack hold loads those tissues under tension, which is the only thing that produces lasting change. This is the same reason Soviet wrestlers had hips that could do things American athletes still struggle to copy. The fourth hold takes 30 seconds to set up and changes the entire upper half of your body. The active dead hang. Find a pull-up bar, a sturdy door frame, a tree branch, or even the top of an open doorway you've checked is solid. Reach up, grab on, and let your body hang from your arms. Here's what makes it active rather than passive. As you hang, you're going to gently pull your shoulder blades down and back like you're trying to tuck them into your back pockets. Not hard, just enough to switch on the muscles around your shoulder joint. Your arms stay straight, your feet are off the ground. Hold for 30 seconds, rest, hold again, rest, hold again. 3 rounds total. Pavel has talked about hanging as one of the most underused tools for shoulder and spinal health, and the science backs him up. When you hang, you decompress every disc in your spine. You stretch the lats, the chest, the entire back. You build grip strength, which is one of the strongest predictors of overall longevity in the research. And you train your shoulder to work in a position the modern world rarely puts it in, which is overhead with full body weight loading it. The mistakes here are mostly about what you don't do. People hang completely passive, just dangling, which is fine for a few seconds, but misses most of the benefit. Or they panic and let go before 30 seconds because their grip burns. That burn is the point. Push through it. Your hands will get stronger fast. If you can't hold your full body weight yet, that's totally fine. Find a doorway with a sturdy frame, grab the top edge with your fingertips, and let your knees sink toward the floor while your feet stay planted. You'll be hanging from maybe 60% of your body weight, and you can adjust how much you take by how deeply you sink. Once 30 seconds is comfortable that way, lift one foot, then the other. The fifth hold is the one almost nobody talks about, and it's the one that fixes the single biggest mobility problem most adults have. If you sit at a desk, drive a car, or watch television in the evening, your hip flexors are tight. They've been getting shorter and shorter for years, and that one fact is why your lower back hurts when you stand up, why your stride feels short when you walk, why your glutes won't fire even when you do squats. The couch stretch hold, used in Soviet weightlifting prep for decades, fixes all of it. Here's the setup. Find a couch, a bed, or a wall. Get into a kneeling lunge, but instead of your back foot resting flat on the floor, you're going to push the top of that foot up against the couch or wall behind you, with the shin running vertical. Your front leg is in a normal lunge position, foot flat, knee at 90 degrees. Now here's the hard part. Squeeze the glute of the back leg as hard as you possibly can and push your hips forward. You should feel a stretch through the front of your back hip and thigh that's somewhere between intense and brutal. Keep your chest tall. 60 seconds, switch sides. The mistakes are about the lower back. If you arch your back to make it feel easier, you're cheating and you'll feel nothing in the hip flexor. The cure is the glute squeeze. A hard glute squeeze automatically tucks the pelvis and shuts off the lower back compensation. The other mistake is letting the chest collapse forward. Stay tall. Imagine a string pulling the top of your head up toward the ceiling. If the full setup is too aggressive, start with a normal kneeling lunge with the back foot flat on the floor and the front foot planted further away from you. Same glute squeeze, same forward hip drive, just less stretch on the hip flexor. Build into the wall version over a few weeks. This single hold, done consistently, will do more for your lower back than 1,000 crunches or any back-specific exercise. Tight hip flexors pull the front of your pelvis down, which forces your lower back into an unnatural arch all day long, which is where most chronic back pain actually originates. Free up the hip flexors, and the back stops needing to compensate. The pain has nowhere to come from. So here's how you put all 5 together into a routine you can do 3 times a week. You'll start with the hard style plank, 3 rounds of 10 seconds with a minute of rest between each round. Maximum tension every time. From there, you go straight into the prying squat hold for 60 seconds, no rest needed because you're transitioning from tension into mobility. Then the Cossack hold, 30 seconds per side. 2 rounds total per side, working back and forth. Then the active dead hang, 30 seconds, 3 rounds, with about a minute of rest between each. And you finish with the couch stretch, 60 seconds per side, 1 round each. The whole session takes about 15 minutes. 3 sessions a week is the sweet spot. More if you have time and your body is responding well. Within the first week, you'll feel a difference. Less stiffness when you get out of bed, a little more depth in your squat, shoulders that don't feel quite so locked up. Within a month, you'll move differently. You won't be the person who groans getting off the couch. You'll squat down to pick something up without thinking about it. You'll walk taller without trying. That's what the Soviet method actually does. It builds you back from the inside out using nothing but your body and a few minutes a day, the way the strongest people in the world have done it for the last century. No equipment, no gym, no supplements, just 5 holds, 15 minutes, 3 times a week. If you want a complete day-by-day plan that takes the guesswork out of all of this and walks you through a full 30-day rebuild, head over to the link in the description and grab Reboot Your Body. And if this video helped you, hit subscribe so the next one shows up in your feed. There are a lot more of these coming. Now stop the video, get on the floor, and start with the hard style plank. The clock starts now.